Hi, my name is Leo McPhee, and I'm here with Robert Simmons from Heaven and Earth, and we're going to be talking about a new stone that we're both really excited about called Azumar.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how this stone was found and how you came upon it.
I've discovered this stone in Arizona just in February of 2013. And I got very excited about it as soon as I saw it. I mean, primarily because of the color. You know, this color is a really lovely turquoise, robin's egg blue kind of thing. And I also like the way that it kind of runs through kind of a greenish blue to fairly deep blue like this piece. But that was just the first connection. Picking it up and holding it was what really got me.
Yes.
It wasn't called Azumar. In fact, they didn't even know what to name the stone. You know, originally the people that discovered it in the ground. But when I was tuning into it, well, I'll say what it was like the first time I held it. That's probably a good thing to do.
Yeah, a good place to start.
So I held it the way I usually do when I start with a new stone. I held it up to my third eye like this. And then I just put my attention there. And even now it's doing the same thing it did when I first held it, which is there's a pulsation that moves from the stone right into the head. And it goes down through the body in a kind of a wave motion. At the beginning, I'll get a kind of a wave right through from the front to the back of my head, and then if I wait a few more pulsations, the energy starts working its way down and down and down until the wave goes right from my forehead right down through my feet. And the sensation that goes with the wave of energy is, if I had to put it in one word, I would say it's rejoicing. It's that the body's response, or something's response inside me, when I hold this stone, it kind of feels like, oh, this is it. This is what I've been waiting to feel. So it is definitely a water energy stone, the way I sense it. And it does resonate probably as well as any stone I've ever encountered, right through the whole liquid crystal body matrix. You know, the whole body being liquid crystal is tuned and can be tuned to resonate with different stone energies. And when you find one like this that is of the water element, it's just a natural connection with the whole of the liquid inside the body. At least that's how I felt it. But that emotional content coming with the waves were very pleasurable.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, because my experience of holding it when I first saw it, it was the same thing. Like, oh wow, this is beautiful. And then the energy was so full and so rich, it really surprised me.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that sense of happiness that it puts right into the body was remarkable and is remarkable. I mean, that's one of the things that I want people to know if they are interested in what this stone is about.
Right.
It seems to be about an infusion of joy into the cellular level of the body. You read it that way too?
I do, you know, and I found myself in being with this stone and sorting them and picking pieces out and holding it and feeling it. It's one of the most emotionally impactful stones that I've ever worked with. And it seems to nourish the emotional body. And that's really surprising. But it also, I've described it as being high frequency, like it feels like it really affects all of these areas of the energy body.
Right.
And then the heart, and then it goes down to the feet, which I can't say I've ever felt a stone so sweet that's also so powerful and brings so many different layers of energy. I really don't think there's anything I've ever felt like it.
Yeah, I know. That's true for me too. I just was thinking of the sort of the bumper sticker, Azumar, so sweet, all the way to your feet. It's that's what it feels like.
It is. It's true.
So, I'd say more about this too. Like, my sense of what it's doing is it is incorporating into the consciousness that is in the cells this energy of what I'm calling sweetness that is a part of the whole new unfolding of consciousness in the world right now.
Yes.
After the December 2012 moment, the thing I've noticed in the few months since then, before we made this film, is a kind of a rising tide of sweetness in my own self-awareness, but also in my connection with other people. And they're talking about it too.
Right.
It's like there's a bit of grace that's entered the world, or a bit of sort of joy that doesn't seem to be for any outward reason. It seems to be for an inward reason. So to me, Azumar emerged just when it did, because that's keeping time. That is synchronous with the emergence of this sweetness in the world.
Yes.
And this is a kind of carrier of that wave, you might say.
Yes. Very well put. I like that, because that's exactly how I feel about it too. It's so timely, and it's sort of come, in a sense, out of nowhere. Given mineralogically, it's unusual, the color's unusual,
Right.
It's not like anything that we've seen, and so in a sense it just is here.
And speaking of that, I should mention what it's made out of.
Yes.
It's 50% quartz and 50% kaolinite. And kaolinite is a type of mineral that is related to serpentines and some clays. So it's an interesting mix, because it's half that and half quartz. And then the color is believed to be caused by trace minerals, and they're not actually, they haven't been able to analyze which trace minerals it is. The man who did the analysis for me was guessing that it was a copper silicate type mineral, such as turquoise, chrysocolla, ahoite, one of those.
Right.
But it's not known. I have this, affinity for it in the same way I do with ahoite, and the shades are similar.
Yes.
But that's a guess. We don't know. But the fact that it has got quartz means that it's got resonance with all of the frequencies moving through the quartz in the world right now too, which I connect with azeztulite and the Azazeo activated azeztulite.
Yes.
I feel like I want to tell the story of the shamanic journey I went on with this stone.
Yes, just recently.
That's right. Yeah, I was getting ready to tune into the stone to write about it. I went into meditation, and something that's only happened a couple of times happened, and that was that I started seeing kind of an inner movie, you might almost say, in that there were characters and scenery and things happening. And what I saw was, I was in a space, kind of just an outdoor space, and I was approached by a female being. And the female being had the most prominent feature with these turquoise colored eyes in her face. And she had on a gown that expressed the color of the stone. It was this color. And there was light glinting off it, kind of like the way light glints off the water in the ocean. And so I took this to be a kind of expression of the being in the sort of costume of a human being. The stone was kind of giving me a metaphoric glimpse of itself, I guess is what I would say. And this being in the picture, in the journey, invited me to enter the water with her. So I allowed myself to go in, and we went underwater. It was as though we were being pulled by currents, and we were pulled into this underwater cave. And we went down through this cave and then came up and emerged from the water in a kind of a cavern. And in the cavern, there were all these stalactites coming down that were just the color of the Azumar. And there was a basin that was made of a stalagmite that had clear water in it. And she said, she beckoned to me to come over to the basin, and then this figure in the vision swirled the water like that with her hand. And as I looked into the water in my vision, I saw scenes of the earth, like of mountains, of oceans, of forests and things like that, all nature scenes. But those turquoise eyes of hers were embedded in nature in each of those scenes. And the picture I got in my own thinking about that was, this is showing me that the being that is manifesting in this stone is present in nature, in the earth, in kind of pervasive in the earth. And she said something like, I am she who is one of the faces of the Divine One. And I was clear in my own mind that it was the feminine divine she was talking about. And she said, I am Azumar. So, I thought about that, because Azumar, as I pictured the word, it comes from azure, meaning blue, and mar, meaning from mare, the Latin word for ocean. So it's to say, I am blue ocean.
Right.
And it does actually, of course, color-wise and energetically too, because of the way the waves go through the body.
Yes.
Reminds you so much of water. And it's the color of the water in like tropical seas, that turquoise water that's in the Caribbean and places like that.
Yes.
So I know I've said a lot about it, but it's I've got to say one more thing.
Yeah.
I slept with the stone, and I slept with a kind of a big one like this, just kind of against my heart. And as I did that, during the night, I would wake up and I would feel just so much joy in my body. It was that my body was resonating with the stone, and my thinking area up here, where I do most of my, where I think I live most of the time, wasn't really, it was observing that something was going on between the stone and consciousness down below, down in the body. And that it was happy, happy, happy stuff. I never ever slept so happy as I do with this stone. Happy in an active sense.
Right.
Rosofia is wonderful for helping me feel peaceful if I sleep
Right.
with that stone. But this one is like actively joyful.
Amazing. Well, it was just making me think when you were talking about the wave-like motion. That's the thing that struck me in terms of the way the energy moves in me, very similar to what you were saying, but I don't think I've ever felt a stone that had so much of a wave motion and how it feels in my body. I mean, it literally feels like, to me, it connects me with the tides of the ocean and that rhythm of nature that is so much a part of Earth,
That's right.
but in a very physical, tangible way. It's almost like having a piece of the ocean and holding it, and then being able to have that sense of what it's like to float and to go with.
That's another piece about this stone that I forgot to say. My felt sense, my intuition about it, is that it's a stone of attuning to the flow of the life unfolding in the world.
Yes.
It's like becoming in tune with the flow. Athletes call it being in the zone.
Yes.
But getting into the state in which you feel at one with everything as it's unfolding is something I experience with the stone, and I think of it as facilitating that experience.
Absolutely.
It's when I think about what would be the applications of a stone like this, for people who want to do practical work, not just attune and be happy like we're talking about, although
Right.
I think that's plenty.
Yes.
I do think that this stone would be a great stone to work with if you are trying to overcome insomnia, and because it's such a joy to sleep with it, and also if there's a feeling of depression and you want to work with a stone to try to alleviate or lift that, I think just the rejoicing quality that I experience with Azumar makes me think I would go there. I would use that stone, I would carry it or wear it if I was feeling like I was having trouble lifting myself out of I don't know, sadness,
Right.
grief, depression, any of those sort of negative states, or even if I just felt stuck, because this stone takes you into the flow, so you're not stuck anymore. So I also see it as inspiring, for people who are artists or people who are meditators and want to reach higher states.
Yes.
I think it's a stone that you sit with this stone and the inspiration starts cooking as that wave motion moves in your body.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Well, also, I mean, we have the different forms now that we just got in of the wands and such. Anything to say about that?
Sure. I mean, we always, when we find a new stone that we really want to get out there with people, we always make beads if we can, because that allows you to wear it and have it with you, have it energetically with you throughout the day.
Right.
And it's beautiful too, so it's nice to show it.
Yes.
Not all stones are as beautiful as this, but I really like this one as something to wear.
Yes.
And and then energetically, the wands are really good tools, because it seems like the shape of a crystal wand that comes to a point like this has a way of focusing the energy of the stone.
Yes.
And I find that true on all of them.
Yes. Different from even a natural pointed piece. I mean, it's so much more focused.
Right. Yeah, let's try it on you and see what you have to say.
I feel like it takes, that essential energy that I felt just holding the raw stones, and magnifies it, makes it way more intense, but also it's just as pleasurable. It's just like taking it and focusing it in a way that, I really wouldn't be able to do with these other pieces in the same way. So, I mean, that is really a valuable piece of making them into these shapes.
One thing I noticed it goes right along with what you're saying is, if I run this piece along like my fingers or in the palm of my hand or at any of the energy meridian points like the acupuncture points, I can feel a little thin line of that wave, and that pleasurable feeling goes right into each finger as I go through here.
Yes.
I can't emphasize enough what you just said about how the stone's energy is pleasure. It's people that are into stone spiritually don't always think it's okay to have a stone that gives you pleasure.
Right. It's like, I want to work spiritually, and there's
right.
a lot of really intense stones that are about evolving us very quickly, whereas this is such a different feeling.
It's sensuous in a way. Like the being that I saw, who was very beautiful, presented herself as in this beautiful form.
Right.
And like the nature scenes that I was shown in the shamanic journey, all that is really sensuous.
Yes.
And that's one of the other things I really like about it. I guess I probably should say something before we finish.
Yes.
About the stones that this resonates with.
Right, because you were talking about that earlier. So
Yeah.
yes.
I think it resonates really well with all of the azesteulites. All of the azesteulites are that high frequency quartz of all different flavors.
Yes.
And this one takes its place among them as a high frequency stone that is in the same band of wavelengths, if you want to use that term,
Yes.
that the azesteulites are in. And then the other thing, that I noticed is it seems to really work well in conjunction with moldavite. I think because moldavite is transformative.
Right.
And so this stone wants you to transform into a consciousness of rejoicing and co-creation with the soul of the world.
Yes.
I like that with moldavite because of that transformational combination.
Right.
Then we've got aquamarine, which takes you to the water element more strongly with it.
Right.
And that's another one that it seems to like, as well as larimar, another stone of the blue ocean.
Yep.
And those are the ones I think that just stand out the most. For for emotional healing, that's right. Like this is so strong for the emotional body.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I really encourage people to experiment with is healing the emotional body with this stone.
Mm.
And in conjunction with that, it combines really well with Arkansas golden healers.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I really like, those two together. And there's a lot more for people to explore.
Right.
Because we've only known about this stone for what, 2 months now?
Right, a very short time.
And we've gotten so motivated because it's doing so much for us.
It is, and we've gotten amazing response from the handful of people who've, gotten to work with it. Which is not very many, but all of them have been like, whoa, this is not what I expected by looking at it.
Right, yeah.
Even though it's beautiful aesthetically.
You don't expect such an amount of energy.
Yes, exactly.
And so, it's a stone I'll keep close to my heart, as far ahead as I can see. And,
yes.
And I do think that people who try it out are going to be happy they did.
I think so too. Well, thank you, Robert. If you want to find out more about Azumar, go to heavenandearthjewelry.com. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.